Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/ We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Very happy to be here. My boy Trent, how you doing, my dog?
I'm doing great, man. It feels good to be back here. Second episode, my man, Clutch Talk, John. You know what I'm saying? I'm having really fun, excited for this episode. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's get it, man.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. And for those of y'all that are on YouTube, y'all see a special face in the building, man. A familiar face in the building, man. For the OG fans, y'all know Sam Dracula has been on the pod before. So my boy Sam, how are you doing? We are very happy to have you on.
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me back. I'm doing well. The Hornets, not so much, but I'm feeling good. Life is good. Basketball's bad, but it's okay. Man. If something has to be bad, I prefer it to be the basketball.
Exactly, man. Exactly, man. You never want life to be going bad, man. So as long as you doing good, we happy to have you back on. And for the family out there, before we get into it, make sure you check out Sam's page, and I'm gonna link everything in the description down below. YouTube channel, podcast, man. Go show him some love because the Hornets is having a hard season, man. So go show my boy some love, man.
Real down bad over here.
Man, but all right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get straight into it, man, because that's what we like to do over here at Clutch Talk. We like to get straight into it. So let's kick it off with our news segment. Some news around the league. We're gonna kick it off with some good news, man. Brittany Griner came home, man, after a long time sentence. Over there in Russia, they had a prisoner swap. So definitely some exciting news, man. Just I want to see how you guys feel about that, and what are some thoughts?
It's great because the one of, if not the best player in the WNBA, and that league doesn't get a lot of attention. So getting another star back in that ecosystem is great. And then for her to not be in prison in Russia, it's pretty great too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a big W and some good news, some much needed good news around the basketball world.
Yeah, personally, I'm 50-50 with it. I'm not gonna go too deep in details because I know how it can be. But I think I'm happy she's home. I'm happy she's not rotting her life away over there because it can get really nasty over there. But if you want to talk about, if we're just gonna go away from sports and you want to talk about political and world stuff, I ain't gonna go too deep into that because that's not what we're gonna do over here. But, I can understand from what people's saying, like, why did we do that? Because we kind of know the dude's background. But for her family, and just that WNBA is definitely a big W that she's home, and I'm excited to see, what's next for her. Because I honestly think her platform grows even more from this whole experience that she dealt with.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Just like how both of you guys said, man, it's great, great to have her home, great for her and her family, man, but also just great because I remember when I figured out the reason she got arrested was over some weed vape cards. I was like, man, y'all need to relax. Throwing her in jail for that. Man, y'all just need to chill out. So happy that BG home, man. Hopefully, like how Sam said, shed some more light onto the WNBA and, that platform. But that was just some news I wanted to kick the episode off with. But now, let's get to let's get to the league. Let's talk about some of these injuries. DeJounte Murray, we saw that he's sidelined with for 2 weeks with an ankle injury, which to an already hurt Hawks team, a very hurt Hawks team. So talk to me about your guys' thoughts and DeJounte Murray's injury and how that's going to affect the Hawks, here moving forward.
I think the Hawks are frauds. So losing Murray is a big deal, a very big deal for them. When the Hornets played them, I looked through everything through the Hornets lens, right? I'm a Hornets fan. You see these. I know what this team is, and when another team doesn't really handle the Hornets, it's okay, I'm looking at this team a little sideways. And I know this guy Bogdanovich back then didn't have him when they played, but I thought that bench looked real tough. Now it looks way better. AJ Griffin looking real nice. With 2 game winners in a row with him. Yeah. But the whole point of Murray, them set 3 first round draft picks for Murray, the amount they invested in him to give Trey that running partner. Not having him is gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be really tough. And Trey's not, he's moving mad over there with his coach. So that backcourt is gonna be an issue. So I think with Murray healthy, I think the Hawks are a fraudulent playoff team. I think they will make the playoffs, but I think they'll be I think they'll get smoked no matter who they get matched up with. But no Murray is a problem for them for sure.
Yeah, how I feel about the Hawks, I mean, throughout the whole season so far for a lot of teams. I feel like teams just really haven't found the groove, or we're still early, you know, we're like 24, 25 games into the season. I love the move that they made for Murray, you know, during the off season, because now Trae Young doesn't have to, you know, get exposed in the playoffs. And that's the main reason why they brought him in. I think it's going to take time for them to play as a unit and play as a core to get together, because you're adding another star talent, you know, who's averaging 20 plus points a game, a great defender and stuff like that. So it takes time. But with them missing them for about 2 weeks is going to be crucial, because right now they're 14-13, 4-6 in the last 10. And with injuries throughout the season, Collins, Hunter, and him, this stretch can really affect them with the seeding. I think they will make the playoffs, but seeding does matter, especially if you want to be a first round elimination after you made this big move. So it's going to affect them for a little bit. If they can figure it out, good for them. But I don't think they're frauds, though. I honestly don't think. I honestly think they're going to step up whoever they play. Just 2020, 21, they were just in the Eastern Conference Finals. So let's give this team some respect.
But
So
hey, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, look at the Pacers are right behind them, and the Pacers just seem like a way more organized unit than the Hawks do, right? And that's kind of what I mean by fraudulent. Like, they're a winning team. I think they'll have a winning record. They'll be away like 400, above 500 by the time the season's over. I think they'll be a top 16, the Hawks. But just one of those teams that I look at, like, when it comes down to it, I'm not sure Nate McMillan will be their coach next year, or even throughout this year. So it's a weird team to me. And I think comparing them to the Pacers, Pacers don't have the same star power as Trae and the rest of the Hawks. But I think the Pacers are kind of a better team than Atlanta right now. But you know, maybe they trade Turner for Collins straight up just to end those rumors. Maybe they could find a deal to work something out and switch those guys around, because there's even him, like, John Collins been on the trade block for like 2 years now. It's just weird. The Hawks have been a weird team. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I don't know. The Hawks the Hawks setup just don't sit well with me right now.
That's a hot take.
Hey, but I'll tell you what though, Sam. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here and call them fraudulent now, because for the last 2 years, I have been sitting here calling them fraudulent. And time after time, I'm not going to lie, they've been proving me wrong in the playoffs. Time after time, right? When I didn't think they were going to make that run 2 years ago, boom, they made the run, shut me up. Didn't think they were going to make the run last year. Boom, made the run, shut me up. But I will say this, though. This team looks different. The locker room looks lost. I agree with you, Sam. I don't think Nate McMillan is going to be there for let alone the rest of this year. The locker room looks like a total mess. Nobody's really listening to coach anymore. You can tell when players just lose grip of it. So I think that, I mean, the Hawks, you know, this injury with DeJounte Murray hurts them, but I still think that when they get their whole roster back together, you know, they're still, you know, they can still be one of those top tier teams. I gotta stop doubting them, man. They proved me wrong too many times.
Yo, let me say one more thing too about the Hawks, right? You know, the situation with Trae Young and the head coach, you know, at the end of the day, they're both grown adults. You know, there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be stuff that you may not agree with, whatever, you know. I feel like it was a miscommunication. I feel like it should have never even came out to the public, because now the people looking at the Atlanta Hawks like they're disorganized and stuff like that. But they're grown men. I'm pretty sure they spoke about it. Trae Young is their franchise player. So if they want to work this out and win a championship, which every superstar player wants, a star player wants for their team, they're going to figure it out. And when this team comes healthy and they can figure a way to get rid of John Collins, watch out for the Atlanta Hawks. I'm telling you right now. I don't think John Collins is a good fit with that team overall at the moment, but Hunter is going to be back. Murray, Trae Young, Bogey, the team's going to be.
Capella's having a nice year. He's a contract year guy too, right? So he's balling out a little bit. So they got pieces. AJ Griffin looking like a really nice pick in the first round. So they got boys. I'm just not confident. I'm not believers in them. It's not believers.
Man, all right. I like that. But let's go ahead and keep it pushing to our next little news segment that we have here. Another injury. Unfortunately, Obadiah Toppin is going to miss 2 to 3 weeks with his right leg fracture. So talk to me a little bit about, how you guys are feeling with that Knicks team with now him missing these 2 weeks. I know Cam Reddish is on the trade block, so maybe that opens up some space for him to get some more playing time. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Obi Toppin. So the Knicks just played the Hornets a little bit ago, and I was looking forward to watching Obi Toppin. I think I hurt like 2 or 3 games before they came to Charlotte, but like I don't know how any of these guys like playing with Julius Randle, man. I don't get it. And Obi Toppin not being healthy and not in that rotation has to be a bummer for his teammates, because I don't know. Randall just slows the ball down so much, so much. It's a drag. But Obi Toppin's one of these dudes who is way older than he should be, right? Like upperclassman coming into the draft. A lot of bounce in him, a lot of maturity with him. But like, okay, I think this is what you kind of fear when you take the older draft picks, that they age out sooner. Now it's early. It's not too bad, but yeah, I'm concerned about him. His long-term health, being an older, third year player. Yeah. He was 2020 draft, right? Third year player. So yeah, that's just something to be mindful of, to see how he recovers from this long term, and if it becomes a recurring thing. I don't know, but maybe again, I'm a Hornets fan. Injuries kind of hard to get out of my mind when it comes to these type of things.
Yeah, when I look at the New York Knicks, I laugh at them. They're a laughable team. They're just clowns. We talked about this last episode with John and stuff, that they made a big move for Jalen Brunson. Cool. They always want to get a star, but no big star wants to play for New York. Their up front is a disaster. Coaching right now is a disaster. I'm so surprised that Thibodeau's still over there. I'm 100%. I'm just surprised. And then for Obi Toppin, with him, I feel like he has been improving, throughout the seasons, throughout the games and stuff. The more he plays, he definitely has been improving. I like him. It's unfortunate that he has to deal with this injury, because the Knicks organization and rotation, they'll be like, oh, you missed 2 to 3 weeks with injury. Now you're not touching the rotation to the end of the season, or may never play again. That's just what they do. They're just so weird. The fact that they're benching Cam Reddish and taking him out the whole thing for a team that's not really that talented, for a team that's 500, can you really name much players better than Cam Reddish off potential wise? You can't. They're frauds. And for any New York Knicks fans that are watching this, I'm sorry that you're a fan, but they gotta go. Like that Julius Randle run a few years ago was all fluke, because we ain't seeing it no more. He gotta go. He's a cancer to their locker room.
Man, okay, we going just straight at the Knicks, man. If there's any Knicks fans out there, I'm sorry, y'all. Take it, relax, man. Relax a little bit. But honestly, I feel you though, Trent. I mean, tell me why. I honestly don't understand why the name Cam Reddish, which was a top pick a couple of years ago, it's just getting thrown around as if he's trash, if the Knicks are in the Warriors position where you're a good team and you're supposed to be good, but if you let the young players play, you're not going to be as good as you're supposed to be. The Knicks aren't in that situation. They can let these young players play out, man. So honestly, I hope for Cam Reddish's sake, because I'm not gonna lie. Back when Cam Reddish, RJ, and Zion were at Duke, I had a hot take. I was like, can't watch. Cam's gonna be the best one. I was wildly wrong about that. But what I will say is that the man can get buckets, man. And I mean, I've seen some reports of the Lakers, Heat, the Bucks, teams that are maybe not the Lakers, but teams that are higher in the seeding that maybe could make a championship run. I think could use a player like this, put him in at the end of the game, go get me some buckets. So
yeah, and I know Knicks fans are really high on his defense ability, right? He's a big body wing that can match up against multiple positions. And every team in the league could use that. And for the Knicks to be like, nah, we're good. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
He's literally 6'8" and athletic.
Come on, man. The Knicks is always messing up, but all right, y'all. So let's go ahead and keep it pushing. Let's get to our next segment here, and that is the yay or nay. Simple, you know what I'm saying, for the family at home. If you guys want to play, I'm going to say a statement. Both my guy Trent and my guy Sam are going to let me know if they're yay or nay on it. We could talk a little bit deeper into it, or just keep it pushing. That's cool with y'all?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. All right, guys. So the first yay or nay statement. So check this out, you guys. So the Pelicans been blowing a lot of people's minds away. Did nobody expect this? They're right now sitting at the first seed at 18-8. Now, here's my yay or nay statement. Will the Pelicans host a first round playoff matchup? Now, that means that they have to finish as a top 4 seed. Yay or nay?
100% yay. 100%.
Trent?
This team is so deep, and so I'm all in on the Pelicans, but we can continue. I don't know how much you want from me right now, but
go ahead. Talk to me, Sam. Talk to me.
They check all the boxes. They check all the boxes. They have they could use some help on the defensive end, a little help on the defensive end. But other than that, they're in prime position to compete with anybody right now. And then with all the picks they have from the Anthony Davis trade and the with Alonzo Ball sign and trade, and all of the guys who are kind of like 11 to like 15 in the roster that can be bundled up in just to make contracts work. They can bring some people in and elevate their squad and fix any holes. If a guy goes down hurt, they have enough ammunition to go into the trade market and bring people in. Like I like what I'm seeing from the Pelicans a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, now I'm definitely a yay on them. They're currently on a 7-game win streak. They beat the Suns back to back. Even though the Suns, they're going through a little stretch right now, they're still a very talented team. And to beat them back to back is pretty impressive without, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones. Like, those are big injuries right there. And they're still competing 18-8, 9-1 to their last 10. So I love what they have, especially with their young guys of Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. Don't forget about the dude that comes around from behind people's back and steals it. What's his name again?
Jose Alvarado.
Jose, like, that team is deep. You could tell they love playing for their coach and Willie Green. I'm excited for them. Last season, we said this because they competed against the Phoenix Suns. They lost, but they gave them a battle. And this year, they got a Zion who is averaging about 30 points a game in his last, 6 or 7 games. Like, he has been impressive. And I was one of those stands that Ja's better than him, but it's up there. So I'm really on this team. I'm really on to the Pelicans. I'm excited to see what they do.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and make it 3 because I'm right there with you guys. I'm yay on this statement as well. I mean, you guys said it, right? You guys talked about their players, their talent. They're right now on this 7-game win streak. But then when I think of this team, honestly, when I have to look at the West, there's only 2 teams that I can confidently say I think are going to finish better than them. And that's because the Suns, the Suns been doing this for the past couple of seasons. I know the Pelicans are on a hot streak, but this is a long season. The Suns know how to stay healthy and stay ready throughout the season. So I think the Suns are going to finish with a better record. I think the Nuggets are going to finish with a better record, and that's it. Every other team in the West, I cannot confidently say they're going to finish with a better record. And mind you, I'm saying this today on what day is today? The 12th, the December 12th. I'm saying this today, December 12th. And we have not seen the best version of the Pelicans yet. Their big 3 that they have only played 9 games, all playing 20 minutes or more together. They're on this 7-game win streak without arguably one of their best players in Brandon Ingram, who unfortunately I have him on my fantasy. So I've been just watching him just sit on the bench for me. They're missing Herb Jones, which is arguably their best defender. They're not a great defensive team, but arguably their best defender. And they're still doing this. They're top 10 on both sides of the ball. So when you put all this together, there's not a single doubt in my mind that they don't finish as a top 4 seed in the West, which is crazy to say, man, because last season they were fighting, trying to fight the Suns.
Yeah, they're top.
I was going to say this time last year, they were looking like the GM's going to get fired. Like, it was a mess. And they went on a crazy run, but they got the 10 seed, won the play-in. And rest is history, right? So the Pelicans, that franchise in the last 12 months have done an absolute madness. And I think it's only up from here. They're going to continue to rise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're top 3 in offense, top 10 in defense. Like, that's a recipe of winning games.
Man. And you know what I just thought of right now as we were talking? Remember coming into the bubble, the year before the bubble, the Suns absolutely sucked. Like, people were like, nah, don't even send the Suns. And then they went to the bubble, and then they were played good in the bubble. And then next year they went on this championship run. Are the Pelicans about to start doing this, dog? Are the Pelicans just going to turn into a championship team all of a sudden?
Man, I think we can start looking at it as like a little template here to predict the future, right? Like, these teams, they show up in these big games, and when you have dudes like Alvarado, because they come out of nowhere, causing problems left and right, just disrupting stuff. It's really special, and it gives hope for any franchise out there that's struggling. That you may not be that far away, right? You may be closer than you think. All it takes is a few pieces to click.
Man, all it takes is a few pieces to click and a big Zion. and you can get it done. Man, all right. So let's go ahead and keep pushing to our next yay or nay statement here. And that is, Sam, you touched on the Pacers a little bit earlier. You talked about how really no one expected the Pacers to be playing as well as they are. But right now sitting at the 7th seed at 14 and 13. And that's really partly or mainly due to my guy Tyrese Halliburton, who's been balling out over there in Indiana this year. right now averaging 19 points per game, 11 assists on 47% from the field and 38% from three. But my yay or nay statement to you guys is, look, Tyrese Halliburton is balling out, but is he going to be an all-star this year?
Ooh, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe they get him on a reserve type thing, but it'd be great. I want to see it, but I don't think so.
So let me ask y'all this question right here, right? Name guards right now that's playing better than
Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, DeMar DeRozan, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Trae Young. That's 5 right there.
I mean, bro, Tyrese Halliburton right now, his efficient rating is number 1 for all throughout the guards right now, right? He's leading his team to, if the playoffs started today, they will be a top 6, 7 seed in the NBA right now. Who would have expected that, right? Let's be honest, right? I know that really doesn't mean too much in the all-star games, like all-star votings and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's fan votings, right? They go based off that. And Tyrese Halliburton is coming a fan favorite. So I like Garland, but Garland missed some time. Got to put that in effect, right? He missed some time with an eye injury. He's been out for a while. Trae Young, cool. I think he's always going to get in. I think Trae Young's just always going to get in, you know? Yeah. But Donovan Mitchell, you're right, and DeMar DeRozan. So it's going to be tough, but I mean, it's hard to deny him when he's putting up these stats. I mean, the last 3 games, he put up 35 points against Brooklyn, 12 for 15 with 9 assists. Washington, 23 points, 9 for 14, 11 assists. Like, that's incredible for a dude that they just traded away to the Pacers for a Sabonis, you know? So it's going to be hard. I guess I got to say, I'm just going to go with yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Sam, you're on the no train on me, or what's going on?
Yeah, just because it's gonna be tough. Like he's all-star worthy for sure. Like, I don't want to downgrade him or anything like that, or denigrate him or anything like that. Like I like watching him play. He's a killer out there. But yeah, it's just gonna be really hard. I think because all right, do you think Paolo gets in the All-Star game?
No, I mean, if anything, it's gonna have to go as a reserve because there's only 6 spots, and if I just named 5, and then if we give Tyrese the 6th one,
but it's like I'm like if there's a rookie that makes it, I think it'd be Banchero.
Man, a rookie that makes it, that's a big one. Like, I mean, to be on the worst team in the league too.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like I think the rookies will like maybe take votes from. I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard his first year out. And then I don't know if you get a knock for not being a starter too. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Man, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. So for the family and all at home, let us know in the comment section down below. Is Tyrese Halliburton an all-star or not? You know, we got different answers across the board, man. So definitely let us know here. What's up, Trent? Talk to me.
Let me ask you something, right? You think Garland and Mitchell? I think Mitchell is a lock to make in the All-Star game, Facts. Right? Is Garland a lock?
Should be.
Think so? I'm not discrediting Garland because he's very talented. I love what he brings to the team, the Cavaliers, and what he's done throughout his career so far. But is he really a lock? Like, there's questions about people being a lock right now. Like, you can go Mitchell lock. You can go
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown's a lock. DeRozan's going to be a lock just because of the numbers he puts up. Like, at the end of the day, so I think there's going to be a few, like maybe 1 or 2 spots available, and Tyrese can put his foot in there. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I like that question. I like that question a lot. But
yeah. When I was writing up that question, I definitely was like, man, this will be a good one, man. So absolutely, let us know at home how y'all feeling. But if you like that question, you're gonna love this one right here, man. Because when I was putting this one together, I was like, man, I know this may sound crazy when I say it at first, but if you did really think about it, it makes sense. But guys, are you yay or nay on the Timberwolves trading Karl-Anthony Towns?
Wait, should they or will they?
Should they? Yay or nay?
Should they? Yeah, I think they should.
Trent, what do you think?
Yeah.
Nah, what? I don't think they will. I don't think they will, bro.
I don't think they will either, but I think they should. That's my answer.
Well, you got to think about it in this aspect, right? Anthony Edwards is their future, right? But can you win a championship just with Anthony Edwards and building around that? So, like, and I don't think you could do it with Karl-Anthony Towns, but also, like, there's other aspects of it too, right? And he just got extended to 2028, a $224 million contract. He's making 50, 54, 58, $62 million. Like, how are they gonna find like who can you possibly trade? It just doesn't. I don't think they do. I think they just finally figure a way. If they don't trade Cat, they're always gonna find a way to trade other players. Maybe they try to flip a Gobert, which I doubt it, but I don't think they trade Cat.
Man, I mean, look, I love your answer, Sam. I don't think they will trade Cat, but should they trade Cat? They absolutely should, man. This is Ant's team. What's up? Talk to me, Trent.
But let me say something though, right? Last year, right? And yes, I understand they didn't have Gobert. I get that, right? Last year they were in 7 seed, 46 and 36. They lost to the series to Memphis. But if y'all watch that series, they was in every single game of. They just blew the lead. They blew every single lead. Now you adding another piece of Rudy Gobert. You know, trading for players, especially like all-star talents, it takes time to like develop, like, you know, work in the core together. So maybe they figure it out, maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, nah. If they should, I don't think they should. Either way, I don't think they should. They look at him as a franchise piece with Edwards.
What's brutal is in 2025 when they're paying $90 million a year to Gobert and Towns. Like that's brutal. You know, 2024 and 93 million between the two of them. A little over 90 in 2025, and then Gobert's contract is up that year. It's just a lot. That's a lot for a front court where those guys, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you want to do that when Gobert's 36 years old, you know, like that's tough. Or he'll be 34, I think, when his contract's up, Gobert, making 46 million a year. It's just tough. And then at that point, Edwards will be on his rookie supermax at that point. It'll be like year 2 in that. It's just a weird roster construction. And I think Towns is easier to trade than Gobert. I don't think anyone's giving Minnesota what they gave Utah for Gobert.
Man, dumbest trade.
Man, yeah. Man. Look, honestly, that's what I was gonna say. Like, should they trade Cat? I think they should. That's what's going to get them closer to winning a championship. Because look, if Anthony Edwards is going to be the future of this team, you need to build around him. And putting 2 centers to clog the paint does not work when you have Anthony Edwards, a slasher, to go to the hoop. It kills any momentum that Anthony Edwards could get going. There's so many times this season where I've been watching the Timberwolves play and they're getting back on offense, and all of a sudden I just see Cat and Rudy Gobert both drop down to the low block, and I'm like, this isn't 2010. We don't run with 2 bigs on the low block anymore. That doesn't work. So to me, I don't think it's no coincidence that Ant started playing much better after Karl-Anthony Towns, unfortunately, got sidelined with this injury. And then comes the question, right? Like, do you trade Cat? Do you trade Rudy? But I mean, if you trade Cat, okay, I think you'll get a better piece. But if you trade Rudy, that officially becomes the worst trade of all time. You gave up so many players and so many assets when you actually had a team. I think the Timberwolves, if they would have kept the same roster they had last year and ran it back, I think they would have been much better than they were this year. It would have been continuity, and they still would have had that killer defense. They still would have had players like Jared Vanderbilt, who is major slept on. He was a big part of the reason that defense was so good last year. And now you take him away, you try to replace him, no disrespect, with Jaden McDaniels. Just not the same thing. Just not the same player. So honestly, we might be looking back on this trade and saying this was one of the worst trades of all time.
I don't even think we have to look. Oh, my fault. I don't even think we have to look.
I agree.
Back.
I agree.
I don't even think we have to look back. They think to trade, like, if you're gonna trade that much, why can't you trade for, like, at least try to trade for a superstar talent? They said, let's go get Rudy.
Or just Donovan Mitchell. What if they gave all that for Donovan Mitchell?
That could have worked perfect. Yo, listen, right? They traded for a player that got exposed every playoff series.
Yeah,
every playoff. Yo, Terrence Mann exposed them on the Clippers, bro. Like, it's pathetic. That, you know what I think it was?
And they paired him up with another guy who gets exposed all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
So, you know what I think it is? I think it's because they seen, okay, the team is pretty good, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go all for it. And that was probably the dumbest decision they possibly did, trading for Rudy Gobert. Now the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, it's new owner syndrome, man. Like, they got Alex Rodriguez and the homies came through, bought the team. They got a new GM. They gave him a percentage of the team, and like they just went after it. And it was like, y'all should have just relaxed a little bit. And then also that ruined the whole summer because no team had did a single deal after that because the market was almost. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse here or not. Was ruined.
Go ahead.
I.e. Kevin Durant, because everything was on hold when Kevin Durant put that thing up, and then the price for Durant was just through the roof from that point on. So shame on you, Minnesota. You ruined everything. Honestly, you ruined your team and you ruined the rest of the league for that.
Shame on you, Minnesota.
You're off the whole curve.
Man. Oh man, but all right, man. So and feel me, that's another question at home. Like, let us know. Would you rather trade Cat? Would you rather trade Rudy? I mean, I think it's pretty clear here, but I mean, unless you're A-Rod, maybe A-Rod's listening. Maybe A-Rod's like, all right, I'm going to trade Anthony Edwards. So you never know. But all right, y'all. So let's go ahead and keep it pushing to our next segment here. That's Rate Your Worry, a classic segment that we do here at Clutch Talk is I got a statement here for you. And you're going to tell me, rate your worry 1 to 10, 10 being I'm freaking out. And 1, I'm not really tripping at all, man. That's cool with you guys?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Let's get into it. So Sam, since you're here, we have to talk about the Hornets, man. Unfortunately, I know it's been tough this season, but Sam, talk to me first. Let's talk about the
10,
biggest.
Whatever you say, whatever's the most worry. It's whatever. I don't care what you say. It's a 10. I'm very concerned.
So talk. Yeah, just let's. I'm not even gonna ask the question. Talk to me about what's the like. What do you see right now? What's the plan to turn around? How do you feel about LaMelo Ball's lingering ankle injury? Talk to me about all that. Just as a Hornets fan.
All right, so I got to go back to the play-in, right? Play-in, the Hornets got pumped again, second time in a row. They fire the coach. They try to bring in Atkinson. Atkinson says yes, then he says no. They bring back Steve Clifford. It's a rip. It's a rip of an all season. Miles Bridges gets in trouble. Montrezl Harrell gets in trouble. It's an L. It's an L from start to finish until the end, right? Right before preseason, they signed Dennis Smith Jr., right? Homie's going to go to the NFL. They bring him in to Charlotte. He looks really good all of a sudden. He's like, okay, man, I like this. And then, he sticks around. It's non-guaranteed deal, low risk, high reward type thing. And it's been pretty good until he got hurt, which we found out later. But right. And then also right before the season starts, they bring in Teo Maladone, just a borderline journeyman. He hasn't bounced around too much, but he's like 21 years old, French kid, played with the Thunder on a 2-way deal. So like all of a sudden the Hornets' biggest issues were LaMelo's backup. Right? Who can like back up LaMelo, who can play alongside LaMelo. And then LaMelo gets hurt in the preseason. So now we're like, oh, cool. The guys that were planned to be his backup are now starting. Kelly Oubre, meant to be the 6th man, he's starting. Hayward plays 8 games, misses 8 games, come back, dipped out. LaMelo misses a month, comes back, plays 3 games, steps on a fan's foot, and re-injures the same ankle. He's out. It's tough. Cody Martin plays 1 minute. The team's best defender historically plays 1 minute, knee surgery. It's an L. It's a fat L. Mark Williams, the 15th overall pick in the draft, gets hurt playing in the G League. Another ankle injury. Mad ankle injuries for everybody in the squad. So it's tough, man, because I don't know what this team is. And the coach says, Steve Clifford, to his credit, who I do like a lot, and I think he is doing a good job, like with all the stuff thrown at him, he said, we don't have a team. It's impossible to get better as a unit when the unit keeps changing. And he's throwing as many different things out there as he can. He's giving, different units runs, like rookie players, second-year players that we didn't see a lot of last year got run, and then they weren't really doing it. So he swapped them out for like Kai Jones, like different other guys. And we're seeing those guys kind of flourish during this period. But yeah, LaMelo with the ankle injury, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. And I don't know how much he'd help this current situation anyway. The team will be more watchable for sure, but the team has so many injuries right now. They're so undermanned that they can only really put up a fight for 3 quarters. It's a matter of when those quarters hit. And this resulted in some wins, but not enough. Not enough.
Man, so overall, you would say the Hornets are GFV. They're going for Vic.
I hope so. The concern is like at some point when this team gets healthy again, they're like, okay, let's make a trade or something like that. I really hope they don't do that. I look at Kelly Oubre. He's an expiring contract. He's playing well, but it's a little bit of a good stats, bad team situation with him. But he's on a 20-game scoring streak for past 8 or 9 games. So his efficiency is pretty decent. I think he'd help a lot of squads out. So if the Hornets look to trade him, maybe if they ever tried to decide to shut LaMelo or somebody down for the year, like Hayward, I think that'll be the official sign that they're tanking. But as of now, they're not tanking. I think at least they're not tanking on purpose. I think they're actually trying to win games right now. Until they start sending guys out or shutting guys down, they're legit trying to win games. But I think eventually, in 2023, when January rolls around, we'll see them throw up the white flag, and as they should. Because if it's not Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, doesn't matter. This team isn't good enough to pass up on anybody. Like wherever they end up in the lottery, they should go best player available and run with it. Because the team lost Miles Bridges. Who knows what his future holds? And that this draft is their best chance at getting that another running mate, replacing Miles Bridges as that running mate if he doesn't return to the Hornets. Because they're not doing it through free agency. The trade market is tough. Getting a guy on a rookie deal that can compete. If they get a top 5 talent that could be a LaMelo running mate for the next 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, they got to do it through the draft. And I hope that's the focus. And hopefully we get lucky on lottery night because that's where we're at. Tankathon.com stays getting my attention. Second best odds is the first pick. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Trent, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, he probably, got all this stuff because, he covers that team. But I do want to say, like, I feel like this team is young and just not disciplined at all. Like, I mean, going back to the offseason, look at James Bouknight. I believe that's his name.
Yeah, that's it. That's another one.
Like, besides NBA, like, outside of it, getting involved in the police, Miles Bridges, Montrezl Harrell, PJ Washington, even though it wasn't involved in it, it's still a big story with the whole situation of him getting played or whatnot. And LaMelo Ball, like, they're just a bunch of young kids that like got money, and now that they don't, like, they're just acting a fool, and that plays a part heading into the season. And then when you said the Kenny Atkinson stuff with Clifford, like, you think you have a new coach, and now it's like, nope, now we got he's coming back. Like that, it plays a role. And no injuries of LaMelo, Bridges, Hayward, and Cody Martin. Like, the team is just, I'm concerned about this team. And I feel like even if they're all healthy, what's their ceiling? Are they a playoff team? Are they just one of those teams that make 7, 8, 9 and fight for playing again? So like, I feel like this team right now is a lost cause and they need help.
Yeah, going into the year, I thought absolute best case scenario, everyone's staying healthy. Gordon Hayward specifically, that this team's best chance was a 9th seed, like absolute best. And I looked at teams like specifically the Wizards and the Knicks, of the teams that were outside the top 10 last year that could replace the Hornets in the top 10. And not only did that happen, like the Hornets got replaced in like the top 13. So it's an issue. It's an issue. But yeah, like I'm here for it. I'm like, I live stream during these games. I didn't stream, like I abstained last night. They played the Sixers last night. I can't bother with it. I couldn't do it. I don't want to see him just dunk on this team for like 2.5 hours. I didn't want to see it. But yeah, like it's a problem. It's a problem. And hopefully we get lucky on lottery night, man. That's the hope. That's the hope right now.
Man,
let me say one more thing, right? Yo, that Miles Bridges, like, he really ruined his whole career. Like, I know this is not really, like, he ruined his whole career. Like, he was about to get paid the bag, and then literally a whole situation involving other stuff that we're not going to go into. It's like, it's insane. And the thing is, like, LaMelo, Terry, like, you could tell they're super, super close. Like, I see like TikTok videos of them like dancing to his music. And so without him, it's like, damn, you're missing out another 20+ score.
Yeah.
Without LaMelo.
He was their two-way guy. Like LaMelo is the star of the team, right? But Miles Bridges arguably is a better basketball player, like all-around basketball player than LaMelo Ball, right? He was legitimately the team leader. Like when fans were allowed back in the building post-COVID, he had the house mic welcoming fans back in. Like, he was like the rock of this team. Literally, like when last 2 seasons, when everyone was getting hurt, he was the Iron Man. Like, he never got hurt. He was always around and playing well and getting better year after year. And projecting him like forward is like, oh man, we got a potential all-star here. Right. And then in the plane, he gets ejected and throws his mouthpiece and hits a little girl in the head. Right. He tweets a pink lemonade picture, on Instagram, whatever. Right. And then what happened in California. And so it's like, whoa, like that 3 months completely out of nowhere, just completely. And so now the Hornets offseason was on hold anyway. Right.
Yeah.
Signing Bridges was their number one. Re-signing him was their number one priority before any of the stuff happened. And so that stuff going to court, delayed. Hornets have to move forward with something. They still have an open roster spot. They still never named a full 15-man roster. So like that just put a complete pause on what they were trying to do. And then now you throw in all these injuries. It's just it's a tough situation. And so when talking about tanking, I think they should tank because nobody's getting fired. Because I think everyone understands what happened here. Steve Clifford just got here. Mitch Kupchak just signed an extension, and he's besties with MJ. He's never getting fired. But like, I think if this team just tanks, like genuinely tanks, no one's gonna like look at this franchise sideways because of just the hand that we're dealt. Just a terrible luck from on the court and off court. It's nutty stuff.
For sure. One
no,
more thing
maybe it's not the best situation to bring Wembanyama into. Maybe though, I don't know. Maybe the Hornets will ruin him. I don't know, man.
when Kelly Oubre is your second best scorer on the team with Rozier, you know your team's bad.
Yeah. Yep. No, you're not. Nope. Yep. You're right.
Man. and man, I mean, I'm right there with everything that you guys are saying. And Sam, man, I feel you. I feel your pain. I have been a Lakers fan, for a long time. So that means that I was a Lakers fan throughout that, 2014-15 season when we had like 6 players just available to play. We had like Ryan Kelly fully laying out on the bench. So, man, this is not the season for the Hornets to get it done, man. So, it's just understanding that and moving forward. Although I will say LaMelo and Vic, a pick and roll would be kind of scary. Would be kind of crazy, man. But that'd be killer, man. But all right, man. So we will see if the Hornets end up landing Vic. But happy that we had a Hornets expert to talk to us about that, man. So appreciate that, my guy Sam. But let's get pushing here, guys. So let's get to the next rate your worry statement. We talked about the Hawks earlier, and I mean we talked about. I talked about the Hawks being a contender, at least out of the East, the past couple of years, at least. If they're not a real contender, they're an elite team out the East. But as of late, they have not looked the same. Really struggling right now, sitting at that 13-13 on a 3-game losing streak. So 1 out of 10, rate your worry for the Hawks not being a contender out of the East anymore.
So this is a weird one because I never thought they were a contender out of the East. So 0, okay. I guess.
Okay. I like
nothing changed for me. I guess a 5. A 5. I'm a 5.
Yeah, 0 is kind of insane. I know. Yeah, I mean, being a contender, I like them. Like, I'm not gonna push them off and stuff like that. But they're nowhere near the Celtics. They're nowhere near the Bucks. So 4 or 5, around there. Unless Trae Young and Murray, and Collins somehow revives himself, and Clint Capella and all their young players start playing crazy basketball, make the run in the playoffs like they did last time. I don't really see it happening. So nah.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you, Trent. I'm at like a 4 or 5 because I'm not gonna lie. I've doubted this team in the past, and I've said 9, 10. I'm scared, and they've proven me wrong. I feel like they are. I'm not gonna lie. The Hawks are starting to become one of those teams where it's not that they don't care about the regular season, but they know how to turn it up come playoffs. And I mean, at least the last 2 years, they've proven me that. So I'm gonna go with the 4 or 5 because they are, down bad. We know DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and really even their backup. What's that guy's name? Yaneko Oneko, however you say his name. Congo. Yeah, he's hurt too, and he's DeAndre Hunter and John Collins is backup. So they're looking like the Hornets right now. The backups is getting hurt.
I wish they looked like the Hornets. I would kill for that.
Let me say one more thing too. I feel like Trae Young. I feel like he came out 2 years ago. He's like, we don't really care for the regular season. We turn up in the postseason. He should have never came out and said that, because ever since he came out and said that, this team has been struggling in the regular season ever since.
Man, yeah, you gotta have a good regular season, man. Set yourself up for success come playoffs. But all right, y'all. So let's get to our last rate your worry statement here, and that is the Clippers, man. The Clippers, for the roster that they have not really been able to put it together. Right now, they're sitting at 15-13. So what I want to know is rate your worry for the Clippers not finishing as a top 6 seed. So that means that they will be in the play-in. What do you think?
So I think them being in the play-in is pretty likely, and I think they're pretty okay with that. Talk about a team that's playing for the playoffs. I think the Clippers are waving that flag right now. We're just doing this to get because we have to do it. Just eating their vegetables until the playoffs come, and then they'll roll out Kawhi and PG and just take everyone down. But yeah, I think the Clippers are punting on the regular season for sure. As long as they can. If they start slipping, which I don't think they will, but they're a 7 seed right now, right? I don't see them dipping much further than that. I think they're just waiting for the play-in. I think they're okay with it.
You know, I feel like that's a bad way to approach stuff. You know, like it's not like they reached championship ever with this roster. Like I feel like no Kawhi Leonard is affecting this team and no Paul George, dealing with injuries. That's the reason why they continue to struggle every single season is because they're running like 15 different lineups out there. They're making trades to improve their roster. Like on paper, this team is talented. Look, Covington, Powell, Zubac, Batum, and then Reggie Jackson, John Wall. Like this team is elite on paper, but they can never figure it out because it's like, okay, we got a consistent lineup for a whole week and then be like, all right, well, Kawhi Leonard's back. Now you have to add another superstar into that and insert that. It's hard to do that because it's like Reggie Jackson used to having the ball in his hand. No, you're going to give it a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George. So I feel like coasting in, like they have to do what they got to do to make the playoffs because if they don't make the playoffs, that's going to be insane. But like Kawhi Leonard is a part-time player. Paul George is just, I love him. I think he's one of the talented, most talented, not the most, but he's a talented player in the NBA, really up there for sure, skill-wise. But I feel like every other week it's I'm sick or I do like a minor injury that takes them out for a while. And I'm just like, but I do think they're a top 6 seed. So like for your question, yes. But overall, I don't think it's a good way to approach how they're doing it. They got to figure it out now. Because if you go to the playoffs, like you can make adjustments, but teams are already prepared. Like this is the big moment, and I love Ty Lue as a head coach. I think he could figure it out, but it's tough. It's really tough. We've seen it throughout the year so far at the Clippers.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really on my worry scale. I'm really high. I don't think they're going to finish as a top 6 seed. I think that is a great point that you bring up, Sam, about whether, they really care or not, because, they do have Kawhi. And when Kawhi comes back, we know that's Kawhi, although he may not be the same. Right. But that's a whole nother topic to get into, man. We talked about that last episode. So make sure you go check that out. But I mean, as far as finishing as a top 6, look, I'm looking at the West and I can confidently say the Suns are going to finish with a better record. The Pelicans, the Mavs, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies. That's 5 teams right there. And we didn't even count the reigning champions. We didn't count if the Timberwolves figure it out. We didn't count if the Jazz end up staying on this hot streak. Maybe I'm stretching for the Lakers, but we didn't even count the Lakers. Maybe I'm stretching, but we didn't even count them. So that's what I'm saying. No way they finish as a top 6, in my opinion. What's up, Trent?
It's funny because we talked about this last episode, and I was up there too. But the Mavericks, let's cross them out. Let's cross the Mavericks out.
As a top 16?
As not a top 6 or as a top 6?
I think they're fighting to get in the play-in, bro. Like they can't. Wow. Yeah, no, I really do, and I just came up with that now because it's not even a segment. I'm gonna add it to the segment to the show right now. The reason why is right. Have you been watching the Dallas Mavericks? I feel like Luka lost trust in his players. Every single game, like whenever they lose, he's making a big fit. He's whining at his players. Like, they're grown adults. Like they have emotions, they have feelings and stuff like that. And they're looking at the leader of the team. Like Luka's the leader of the team. And it's like, why? Like that's how you look at me. Like you could tell Luka doesn't like he's frustrated because the players that were making shots last year are not making shots this year. They lost the ball handle and Jalen Brunson was huge. You bring in a washed up Kemba Walker with a messed up knee who hit a mid range, and I've seen people post like, "Yo, we don't care about Kemba Walker. He ain't making no change in anything unless they make a move." This team is going to continue to struggle. Luka's playing out his mind, and the team is still struggling. How are they going to improve? Yeah, make some shots. It's easy to say, but if they've been missing all season, you think they're going to flip the switch and be like, "All right, now I'm gonna knock my shots down"? Like it's tough. Maybe they could, maybe they don't. But the West, like the teams you name, it's gonna be rough for them. I honestly think it's gonna be rough. Because like, look at Luka. You can put him in the MVP conversation. Take the record wise out if you want to say that. You can put him in the MVP conversation. His team is just not good enough. The fact they go sign JaVale McGee to a huge deal for what?
Come on, man. My guy JaVale catch some good lobs. He catch some good lobs from Luka.
Yeah, but
on some lobs.
Luka didn't even know his name in the beginning of the day. He's like, "Yo, I see this."
Like, yo, Joel, right?
Yeah, so he's like, "Yo, Joel." I'm like, "Yo, it's raps, bro. It's raps."
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say the Mavs gonna struggle to make play-in, but to answer the initial question, I do not think the Clippers is going to finish the top 6. Even if you take the Mavs out of that equation, even if you put them in that play-in situation, I still think the Clippers don't make that top 6. And like how Sam said, they might not care. They might not care, man. But all right, y'all. So let's keep it pushing and let's get to our last segment of the show here. Fun little segment. The way we like to end things around here is just winners and losers of the week. Could be player, could be team, could be GM, whatever you want, man. But something around the league. I'll just go ahead and kick it off here. I gotta go. I'm gonna kick off my winner. It's got to be the Pelicans. I mean, they're on a 7-game win streak. They just put the entire league on notice. No way none of us or anyone that did any preseason rankings had the Pelicans sitting at the number 1 seed at this time. They beat the number 2 seed Suns, who I know people. I was watching the Suns game yesterday, and the Suns broadcast was like, "Oh, this game doesn't really matter." Stop the cap. This game matters, man, because down the road, they're gonna know they beat you. They're gonna know they had the upper hand on you those 2 games. So they beat the Suns, the number 2 seed. And again, this is all without Brandon Ingram. So they got to be the winners, in my opinion.
So mine hasn't happened yet. It's in 2 days.
What's your winners?
Oh, I was trying to say this with a straight face. Hornets play the Pistons on December 14th. All right. Somebody has to get to 8 wins. So we'll find out. 2 7-win teams going at it on the 14th. So that's my preemptive. I think Detroit wins that game. So they're the winners. They're the winners of the week for me.
I like that.
Detroit. I was watching them play Lakers yesterday. Detroit. I know the Lakers are like up and down, but Detroit, they got some people over there, man. I like them. But for my winner, we can go Pelicans. I feel like Pelicans makes sense. 7-game win streak, whatever. But Zion too. But I want to go on the losers end. I want to go to the losers end, right? I got a few losers. I got the Miami Heat because I covered the team personally. I feel like a lot of people are not talking about the Miami Heat. They're bad. They lost. The fact in a week you lose to the Pistons and the Spurs. That's a problem. I don't care anybody says that's a huge problem. These are 2 tanking teams, right? They're 12-15. Pat Riley is being stubborn because he doesn't want to make any moves during the offseason because he wants to go after the big fish. I understand he wanted Durant, Mitchell, Bill, the Fields. You got to improve your roster somehow, and they don't at all. They're just not figuring nothing out. I think they're going to be a team that's 500 the whole year and get bounced out in the first round. So I got to give it to the Miami Heat and the Bulls. No one's talking about the Bulls. They lost a buzzer beater by AJ Griffin, I believe, yesterday. But I'm hearing so many reports that if they continue to lose, they might blow it up, trade one of them. So those are 2 big losers because the season, we had expectations for these teams. I want to say super high, but we had expectations for both of these teams. And right now they're playing horrible. So winners, Pelicans and Zion, but losers, Miami and the Chicago Bulls.
My guy Sam, who you got as the loser of the week? You got one yet or not yet?
So genuinely, I'm gonna show the Hornets some love. I got 2 winners, Bryce McGowan and Kai Jones. These guys have been getting extended run. Kai Jones was the 19th pick in the draft last year, didn't play at all last year. The Hornets traded back into the first round. They traded a future protected first round pick to get back into the first round to take him, and he barely played at all his rookie year. Now we're in his sophomore year, and he's getting some real minutes against real opponents in a real consistent way, which hasn't happened at all. So for the Hornets, the goal should be to see what they have with these young players, and we're seeing some flashes what Kai Jones could be. Bryce McGowan's is a guy that NBA fans won't know because he plays for the Hornets. He's a 2nd-round pick from Nebraska, and he's in the same kind of rotation. He's been the first guy off the bench his last few games for the Hornets during this injury issues, and he's really making the most of it. He's not a complete player by any means. I don't want to overstate it, but for a 2nd-round pick from Nebraska coming in, he looks like he belongs in the league, and you can see what he can be, how he moves around the floor. Comparing him to Johnny Davis in the same draft, went 10th.
Awesome.
He looks so when the Hornets played the Wizards, he had an open 3, pump fake, dribbled and passed it. He looked terrified. Bryce McGowan's looks like he's been in the league for the 10 years by comparison. So that's I think a really nice pick by Mitch Kupchak, and he's like another kind of player that they're going to bring along a la Cody Martin, a la Jalen McDaniel. So look for him in a couple of years. He's not ready yet, but Bryce McGowan is looking like he's making the most out of this opportunity and defending some of the best players in the league during this stretch. Like it's been a hell of a run for him, from Harden to Kawhi to Paul George. It's been a lot been thrown at this young kid. And for as far as losers go, I'm going to James Bouknight and JT Thor. JT Thor is another one that people may not know. Second round pick last year, showed some promise, but he's just not ready yet. He's a big time project. I'm not killing him for that. Bouknight, 11th overall pick last year's draft. He's been a bit of a no thus far, and he got some run early and lost a spot. And losing your spot when everyone's hurt, that's an issue. Like when you're low on guys and you lose your spot in the rotation, that's a major red flag. Bouknight played a little bit last night against Philadelphia, which is his first run of games in a while. But yeah, so I'm giving an L to Bouknight for sure, and a minor L. It's like a small L.
Small L. A small L. I feel that.
Yo, can we just give an L to the Hornets and overall?
Oh.
No, it depends on what happens in the lottery, man. It could be a W. There's a bigger game at foot here. If they end up, I'm gonna lose my mind if they end up at the 5th pick in the line. I'm gonna be live streaming during it, and I've been telling my stream that like when like World Series comes around and like they were like in the locker room they'll put plastic up everywhere. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do that on lottery night, and if the Hornets end up with the first pick, I'm gonna get the champagne and spray it all over this place. But if it's an L, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what to do if they fall back in the lottery.
Oh man,
that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now.
They can't take another L right now.
Nah, for sure, yo. But I watch OKC. That's my big team. I like support and stuff. I'm missing Chet. Like it's so disappointing because I was man. So sad.
Especially the way it happened too.
Yeah, like I really wanted to see him play. I think OKC's been on something special, and I think people continue to say that every single year. But Shea's looking like a star. Josh Giddey's a walking triple double. Now you're gonna add Chet to that. You still got Lou Dort over there, nice 3-and-D player. Like I like what my OKC team doing. But just talk about the lottery. Like I just wish I could see Chet, man. But the thing is, NBA is gonna get crazy because we're gonna see Chet versus Victor next season.
Come on, man.
And Bobo. Don't forget Bobo.
And Bobo, man.
Don't forget Bobo.
This league is just getting more and more exciting, man.
Bobo's having a breakout year, and I know the Nuggets are regretting it.
Yes, sir.
The
Celtics just gave him away too. Imagine him with Boston.
Oh my god!
They let him walk.
I think they paid they gave up a 2nd round pick to ship him out of town. I think it's nuts.
Crazy. That's crazy, man. But all right, y'all. So let me run off my loser of the week here, and that is it's got to be the Suns, man. Not even the fact that they're on this 4-game losing streak. I've been watching the Suns as of late this season. And I honestly don't know if they still got that it factor. I don't know if they still got that championship run in them. When I was watching them a couple of years ago, the reason why I was like, wow, the Suns are so good is because genuinely players 1 through 15 would contribute and would genuinely, campaign would be out there giving them big minutes. Versus as to what campaign is doing now, it's not nearly what we've been seeing. We just watched them play yesterday without Devin Booker. They struggle. They look like they have no identity. I get it. That's their best player. But yet, if you're going to be a top team in the league, you have to have an identity with or without your best player. And right now they look lost. They look like there's some sore losers. I already don't like Chris Paul. So, his little shenanigans he does is already annoying. So when you add that on him losing and him being a sore loser, yeah, they got to be the biggest losers. The Suns are annoying, man. I can't deal with the Suns.
I'm back there. Campaign needs to relax. He needs to relax, man.
Yo, let me tell you, I made a video on TikTok yesterday, and actually it had like 800,000, right? And it was about campaign because it was like a timeout, and he's like, trying to like talk big to like the Pelicans and stuff like that. And all the comments are like just roasting the Phoenix Suns, like they're just all fake tough. Like Devin Booker made a comment about Patrick Beverley when he pushed Ayton. He said, he wouldn't push him in the front, but Booker, you literally did the same thing a few years ago. You push people from the back from all the time. Like, I just can't stand the Suns, just how they're brought up. Like, I think they're so corny. I think Ayton's corny. Booker's so corny to me. I don't care how talented. He's just a corny individual. Corny. And Campaign, I look at Campaign as Russell Westbrook's dancer from OKC days. That's how I look at Campaign, dog. And, before the show ends and stuff like that, I want to ask him one more question. I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. I want everybody to know that I support him to the day. How do you feel about Russell Westbrook?
First ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's shown a lot of character, proved a lot of people wrong by accepting a lesser role in the rotation, and proved a lot of people wrong. Trading for Russell Westbrook and then being upset that he's Russell Westbrook is crazy. Like, that's on you. he's a known quantity, and when you acquire him, if it doesn't fit, that's on you as an organization, not on him. So yeah,
you hear that, John?
Man, I mean, hey, look, man. Honestly, at first, when we first had Westbrook on this team and he was refusing to come off the bench, I thought that was more on him. I'm like, come on, man, you gotta realize that when you got LeBron and AD on the court, you can't be the primary ball handler. You got to realize who you are. But now that he's came off the bench, I have no qualms with him. Like how you said, he's accepted his role, and I think that that's what's going to let his career go longer. And that's exactly what Carmelo did not do, and that's why his career got hindered. It's because that famous press conference he had in OKC where he was like, "Come off the bench. I'm not coming off the bench," and he just was tripping on that. I think that if Westbrook would have kept that same attitude, he'd have been out the league, just like Melo. But I think, not Westbrook being able to do that, and he's proven it, man. He's been definitely a positive player coming off the bench for the Lakers, man. But I agree with you, though. I feel you to a certain extent, Sam. You bring Westbrook on the team, you got to understand what he's bringing, because he's not going to tone down.
Nah, I agree. I feel like there's another side, though. Like, if you watch Russell Westbrook throughout his whole career, got to look at the teams with Durant and Harden. Russ always had the ball in his hands, so like it's hard for a player, a Hall of Fame player, first ballot Hall of Famer, to be like, take that, and that's on him too. Like, you got to put it on him. It's hard, but it's like you used to being the main dude, and now he's like, ain't the main dude no more. So it took him a while, but he came to a realization, and he finally did it. And I also think him and Vogel didn't have the greatest relationship, so I feel like he didn't want to do it for Vogel. But Darvin Ham, on the other hand, they probably connect a little bit more. And he's like, you know what? To make my career extend too, he's probably thinking about that. It was just like, I got to do what I got to do. But not playing no minutes in the fourth quarter yesterday, John. What's all that about? Because of the end of the third quarter? Because he played one bad for that? Like, I know you watched the game yesterday.
Well, I mean, look, I think crunch time, I don't think he should be on the court, to be real with you. In my opinion, he should not be on the court come crunch time.
Fair, but not playing the whole fourth quarter though.
That's wild. That's wild.
In a close game, mind you, it wasn't a blow. It was a close game. Pistons kept it through the whole time. Like, I understand what he did in that third quarter near the end. Shot the crazy 2-for-1, turned the ball over, whatever. But you're not playing him is insane. Luckily, they came out with that W, because if they didn't, Russell would have been slandered the whole night. I promise you. He didn't even touch the fourth quarter, but he'd be like, it was Russ's fault because what he did in that third quarter. I promise you. I just deal with it because I'm a Russ fan. I know it all. But
man, I hear you. I hear you, my brother. But all right, man.
Also, just last thing on Russ for me. I think what you're also seeing from Russ is that he didn't want to go to Indiana or Charlotte or wherever they were trying to send him in any of those fake trades. I think there's a little bit of that in that mix as well.
He was like, man, I can't go to India. I can't go from Los Angeles to Indiana. What am I doing in Indiana?
Yeah, and I told my people, I said, I watch Russ no matter what team he goes to, but if he went to the Pacers, I was not watching. I wasn't watching it. I can't watch that team.
What if he went to the Hornets?
Yes. I guess.
He would average a triple-double playing for Charlotte. Like, his usage rate would be insane.
Yeah. And he would teach LaMelo a little bit too, just for his veteran leadership and being in the locker room with them, like those young cats, because they need they need help. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, they need to stay out of trouble. Like, people wish you had your career. The fact that you're affecting this,
Crazy, man. But all right, man. All right. Well, I think it's a good place for us to go ahead and wrap it up here, man. And we had a jam-packed episode. We had three very fun segments, man. But before we get out of here, I got to thank my guy Sam Dracula, for coming on the pod once again, man. But Sam, you got any last words to say before we get out of here?
Oh no, I appreciate y'all having me on. I do a podcast with Raymond Felton. It's called Believe in Hornets. You may remember Raymond from the UNC team that won the title in 05, fifth pick in the draft in 05, 14-year NBA vet. Nick, Bobcat, played like Blazers, Maverick. He got around a little bit, but we do a weekly podcast. OKC. His last game was this game. He was on the.
Oh, really?
That was his last game.
Oh, you ain't gotta do me like that, bro. You ain't gotta do me like that, man.
I talked to him about it. So he was there. So I was like, if I could talk to him about it.
Yeah.
You can see him on the bench one of the replays with Dame waving goodbye. And you see Raymond on the bench not looking too happy about it. But yeah, it's a weekly podcast available everywhere, called Believe in Hornets, available everywhere podcasts are found. And then youtube.com/Sam Dracula, where I don't know if you I don't even give a shit about the Hornets right now. But if you want to check or hear me talk about the Hornets, I'll do it over there as well.
Yes, yes, sir, man. Family, make sure you guys go check my guy Sam out. Everything is going to be in the description down below. Links to podcasts, YouTube. Make sure you check my boy out. But my guy Trent, you got any last words to say before we get out of here?
Listen, I cover the Miami Heat. If you want to go check that out, link will be in the description. I also have a main channel, Top Notch. You want to go check that out too? Cool. But follow my TikTok, man. That's where the funny content is. I'm about to hit 50K over there. Top Notch Hot Takes. I appreciate that a lot. But before I go, I want everybody to hear this. Russell Westbrook is a GOAT.
Oh,
simple,
man. Oh,
simple.
Oh, man. I can't do that.
Yo, we go get people talking. It's fine. Argue with me in the comment sections. I'm all for it.
Man, let's do it, man. Let's do it. So as always, you guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, man. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave a nice comment down below. Follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It's at Clutch Talk Pod. For those of you listening on the podcast, just at Clutch Talk Pod. Make sure you get at us. And that's it, man. We out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.